Good morning. Today is going to be a really short episode. I have a lot of admin stuff I need to do today. Um, so I'm going to finish off the electrical rewiring. I've also been able to stop off at the auto electric shop to buy some switches and a panel mount and stuff like that. So I might connect that up if I've got time and just have them ready and waiting to go. So all I have to do is plug in the appliance. So let's get on that. Yesterday I started making the electrical area a bit more organized. So this is what I've done. Um, so basically, it's just hiding all the cables behind the piece of wood, except for this one. um, but basically, the cables are going to run out the back and then to the battery. I've still got to do the circuit breakers. Um, yeah, so I will get started on that now, and then we can move on to the switches. I've just prepped all the supplies that I will need for the circuit breaker run. Um, so I'm just prepping it for battery connection. I'm not hooking it up to appliances just yet. I will do that when I have the switches ready. So just quickly, I will run through what I've got here. So I've got 4 pieces of cable. Yep. I've got some terminals, 2 different types. The circuit breakers themselves. So there's 2 8 amps and 2 20 amp ones. The cover for the circuit breaker. This end here is what is connecting to the battery. So the battery bolt goes in there, and then I can connect terminals there, and then the tape, electrical tape. So with the way that this, sorry. So with the way that I'm going to run this, so on one end of a cable, I'm going to put the M-shaped terminal. Hopefully that focuses. So this end here will slot in there, in the battery side of it. With the round ended ones is what I'm going to use on the circuit breaker side. So there's screws in there which I can use to mount this on. You can have the wire just running to that, which I will probably do on the top ends, but for the bottom ends I'm going to use the terminals just so that they hang just so that they hang correctly. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so that's what it looks like, one cable. I did have a bit of excess wire exposed, but it doesn't really matter. So one end is the M and one end is the O. there you go. Okay, so I've finished terminating all the cables. So on the battery end and on the fuse circuit breaker ends. I'm just going to hook it up because I will need to run it behind the board that I've built. Cool, so that's a lot neater. I haven't connected the top ones on yet. Alright, I've finished hooking up all the battery cables and whatnot. It's looking far neater. There's not cables running everywhere. I'm going to have this mounted up against this wall, just to clear a bit more space in there. But I need to wait till after I hook in the appliances to the circuit breaker. But everything else is all connected, so we should be good to go. Okay, now that I've done the cleaning up of the electrical, I am going to start on the switch panel. So I think I will have everything all mounted in the kitchen area, because it's close to in and outside, and I'll be looking at it every day. So when I brush my teeth or use the kitchen. So I am going to be using some of the stuff that the previous owner had, but I've also bought some stuff here as well. I don't know if I'll have time to finish this. I've got to leave pretty soon, but we'll get started on it anyway. So my plan is to actually put a relay in the box here if it will fit. Most people would put the relay with all the other electrical stuff, with the circuit breakers and the battery supplier and whatnot. But since I have taken out all the paneling from that side of the wall, there's no screws that go all the way through to the body of the car. There is on this side, but not on the kitchen side. And I don't want to be running cabling, up through the roof and then down to this panel. It's actually going to be a shorter cable run if I run it directly to the battery. This is for the negative terminal, by the way. Yeah, so it's a lot shorter run to just run it straight to the battery. So my plan is to put one negative cable and then have a distribution terminal connector, like one of those screw-on things. Actually, so this is actually what the previous owner did. So he's got one here. Okay, so it's made of brass, so I can hook in all the negative terminals here, and then have one cable running from the battery to here, and it'll distribute it along here. So when you're calculating for the voltage, the amps for your cable run, I've just got a 40 amp cable for the one that runs from the battery to this brass terminal. It's enough to it's enough to facilitate any anything that I might want to plug in. So the the ventilation fan is 5, I think. Uh, the water pump I won't have running here because it's closer to the battery. Um, the lights is like 1 amp. The USB I think is 3 amps. So it's nowhere near as much as I need, but I'm actually going to put extra switches on just in case I do want to add things in future. I'm also going to use one of these like car cigarette lighter kind of plugs. Um, just because there's a fridge, the fridge will run on that. So let's get started. Oh, sorry, with the dimmer switch. That's right. So there's a dimmer switch here that that previous owner had for the lights. I will be reusing that and the switches that he had, but I want to put that dimmer switch for the lights under the over the bed, because that I don't think I'll need it for anywhere else. The rest of the cargo bay is you either want the lights on or off, but the bed area you might want to have a soft light. Yeah, so I'll put that near the bed. I'm just going to test out how these switches work. Um, they have 3 prongs like the other ones do, but they're all brass, so there's no color differentiation between them. It does have labels, so it says earth, load and supply. That doesn't really mean too much to me. Earth is the only one, which is probably the negative. Um, I'm guessing load is positive, and I'm guessing supply is the appliance. So I'm going to try that first. If it doesn't work, then I'll switch them around and see when I can get it working. Man, it's gotten hot. I am just going to test out the new switches. As I said, I'm not sure how these ones work. So let's go with my first instinct. So I'll just use the lights. I'm not using a circuit breaker for this one. I did yet again step on these, so I'm hoping it's not fully dead. I think I've stepped on them about 50 times. Okay, so we are... Okay, that's fallen off. I haven't really terminated these cables really well. I kind of just shoved them in the slot. Okay, so I'm using green as the... I'm not even sure that's touching. I'm using the green as the appliance. So we'll go supply. Red as load. Oh, that has fallen off. Okay, so I've got the positive cable and the supply. The negative cable, I have the lights like negative cable running here, and also the battery. So it will still work if I turn it on like this. Yeah, so uh, so the lights are on. I'm hoping you can see that. The lights are on. So I could just have it like that with the positive negative. But if you also want the light on the switch to come on, you also need to plug in the negative cable, which I don't know if I'll have enough room. There you go. Lights on there and the lights on there. I've just drilled a hole with the biggest drill bit that I have, but this it still doesn't fit all the way through. It's slightly a bit off, so I'm going to do what I did yesterday and circle it around, because those ones seem to work fine. I've just measured and marked out 6 slots, so I've got six switches. I'll put them all in. I probably won't use all of them at the moment. So each of these is 3 centimeters across. The box was 19.5, which is a very odd measurement. 19.5 centimeters. So I've cut off 7.5 millimeters on each end to make it 18, and then 18 is divisible by 6 3 times, which is where I got 3 centimeters. So I am going to start drilling these, and we will add the switches in. Okay, I have my 6 holes. It wasn't too difficult. It's a little bit more difficult than wood, but nothing too dramatic. So the rocker switches just have 2 ends, so that just screws on to fasten it on. Cool, just like that. Cool, there we go. It's pretty much even. This one's slightly off. Oh no, that looks right. I'll just tighten it. Yeah, there we go. So with this panel, I think I will take the voltmeter and the USB and stick it on that thing. I don't know if I want the cigarette accessory plug thing or not. Let's just see how it lines up with the others. If it takes up too much room with the cigarette lighter, then I won't put it in. Yeah, let's just stick with the voltmeter and USB for now. I'm just going to do a practice cut with the sizing for those ones. I might see if that circular drill set that I bought yesterday has one in that size. Let's hope. It looks like this piece is pretty close. Let's hope so. Let's go this way. Spot on. Sorry, I don't know if you saw that. So that is spot on. I've been thinking about what sort of alignment they should be in. Whether I should have them like right next to each other, or one on the side, or two in the middle. It does have space for about 4, but I'm thinking because I'm putting the relay in there, I might put one on each side, and then that way all the cables can just run here and then out the bottom. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get that plastic bit that I just cut out of here. Did manage to get the plastic out. What I did was put a screw in it until it had enough space for me to put some pliers underneath. I might just show you how I did that after this one. Yeah, so to get the plastic out, I just drilled into it with a screw. And then I use some pliers. So there's enough space now for me to put the pliers in. Cool, there you go. One thing I forgot to mention, when you're drilling into the plastic, it's whatever tool you're using, and I found it with all of the tools, so the drill, the jigsaw, and this circle cutter, plastics melt when you're drilling into them. So there's like these scuff marks there, and it happened with the PVC as well. With the PVC, it was easy to, I just used a little bit of sandpaper, and I didn't even brush it very hard, but it just came off. But with this one, I don't know what type of plastic it is, it leaves these like craters. So it doesn't do it on the other side. So if you can, drill from the opposite side. But I found you can just snap it off with pliers. If I use sandpaper here, it's gonna scratch the surface. So if you can, cut it from the other side. there we go. We've got our panel with USB ports. Alright, let's hook up some of the wiring. Looks like I don't have enough terminal ends to actually hook this all up. So I'm gonna have to go and get some more, but it is really late. Yeah, the sun's gonna go down in like 10-15 minutes. Yeah. I know we didn't get a lot done today, but as I said, I was quite busy with other stuff. Let's continue on with the wiring first, because I don't think it's not going to take too much longer. That one's all done. I just have to mount it up, but I need to do the cable run from that to that. So let's do that next episode. And we'll get started on the grey water as well. Thanks again for joining.